All right, guys, a very warm welcome, guys, to my channel this particular morning. I want us to talk about the young people and the 2027 general election. This comes in on the backdrop of yesterday's discussion where young people sat down and articulated their ideas and their perception regarding this particular government. It was a very excellent interview, and I've just extracted a few videos of their discussion that I want you to watch and have your opinion as well. So stay tuned, and if it is your first time on my channel, guys, could you kindly just support my channel by hitting that subscription button and putting on a notification bell as well, so that when I do such videos you'll not miss out.
You have a lot to learn about the political history of the country. I think somebody is indeed going back to Sugoi, but the politics of 2027 are not going to be personality politics. They are not going to be about Wamanyoro or even tribal politics. We are organizing towards moving away from that as young people of this country, which I believe you are a young person. I do not know why you're not sailing on the same boat, but that's besides the point. We do not want to have a political leadership where, Jeff, you are dictating about should I even vie or should I not. You know, we want to have our own agency as young people. We have lived realities that have been pathetic. We have lived undignified lives. We have documented our brothers and sisters being killed by police. IPOA has huge case files of people from informal settlements who have been killed. We're not interested in continuing this undignified kind of living in the name of playing politics. Politics is not a game for us. It is a lived realities because it affects every aspect of our lives. The school we go to, the hospitals we go to, the water we drink, everything really. So this is not a game thing. This is not a tribal thing. This is not a loyalist thing. This is a poor people uprising that's saying enough is enough. We are going to take control of our country because we cannot trust these people that we have consistently voted for. Do you know how early people wake up to vote? The last elections, Ruto was fronting himself as a president of the hustlers of this country, and so many hustlers rallied behind him. But what did the hustlers get? Their children being gunned down by the Kenya Defense Forces. So we do not want to have that reality for the people of Kenya again. And we will do, I feel like this JKL discussion has given us even more oomph to continue organizing radically, to continue organizing seriously about the alternative political leadership. And this is why we are consolidating back the Nairobi chapter social justice movement, which has social justice centers across all the informal settlements of the country and even across the country. So we are saying we have to come back as young people and we have to shape the narrative and the politics of this country, because we cannot leave them in anybody's hands because they do not have our interest, and we cannot continue documenting, going to court, demanding justice, which we never have. We are tired. We've had enough.
I was writing, and I don't know why it came up, but I would like to say to my brother, Mark, that debate and disagreement are at the core of any true democracy. And that argument is necessary. That's why I take all sorts of criticism in stride. And being in the ODM Youth League does not necessarily mean that we have some special rights that the other Kenyan does not have. We do not buy bread cheaper because my party leader is Raila Amolo Odinga. I do not fuel my car for cheaper because we have an MOU with the current existing party. But this is a country that is going to be left to us. And as in a situation where such contradictions abound, because the contradictions abound everywhere, we must tend towards what is just and what is right. If this government does something that is right, I will give it my best credits. But it also deserves my opprobrium as a youth leader. When it does something wrong, when it is serving its own interest, I must be able to criticize it. And as a center leftist, I would say that, and the communists will understand this, that Chairman Mao advises that where contradictions abound within the Communist Party, the way you sort out the contradictions is through criticism and self-criticism. And even within this movement, the contradictions that abound are many. and they will be sorted out through criticism and self-criticism. That feedback that you're telling me that some are saying was sold out is criticism. that I cannot, I've tried to fight it, but at some point you have to sit down and ask yourself, where does greater good tend towards? And that serves the function of self-criticism. So for me, where it stands, I have no gain or loss by being criticized, but it would be a far troubling thing or a far troubling thought if I have the chance, just for the sake of cheap popularity, which I have earned and lost and earned again in certain circles. If for popularity, as the hymn writer says, once to every man and nation, there comes a moment to decide. If I do not decide to do that, which
also
is
on what the young people, saying that young people don't have a plan. I have had young people talking about how can we be able to vote for whoever we will choose. And how do we turn from the age of 16 years, because by 2027 they will be ripe, from 16 years and above, how will we get all the young people to go out and vote? Because they will be ripe. You choose the political party you want, but values, what we value, our integrity as a nation, our integrity as a people becomes very, very important. And that is why I think that now patriotism, or rather our hope for the next president or for the next leadership of our country, is not based on one person, that this person is our hope. I think 2002 Kibaki was the hope, but now as we approach 2027, our hope is our future as the Kenyan people. Our hope is what is going to work for us and our children. Again, you have asked about what was achieved from the protest up to now. One, the young people and the Kenyan people got a voice and they were listened to. They made noise online, if that is what they call noise. They were in the streets, and we cannot say that the voices of the people of Kenya was powerless at that time or even now. And the reason why they keep on addressing the people on social media is because they know it is a force in itself. And so if it is a force in itself, you do not address things that don't concern you, right, Jeff? If someone is saying something and it doesn't concern you, you're not there at all. But the things that you know matter, you actually do talk about them and try to sell fear to them and to put in fear for them so that they stop doing what they're doing. So me, I'll encourage the Kenyan people on X, everywhere, if you're doing your online, wherever you are, you're organizing yourself. If it is social media, speak out. If it is you with your friends, speak out. Again, what else was achieved? For me, I feel a lot of civic engagement really happened. I really enjoyed hearing the finance bill in the different languages. And I honestly can't wait to see this year's finance bill being translated by the young people to different people so that we may understand. Oh, this is what the government is saying. Is this working for us? Yes. Is this working for us? No. And so the achievements are there for the protest that was there. And that is why there was a BBC documentary that our political class was so against. And that is why they're keeping the comments and saying those comments of people die every day. And so we can strongly say that the protest in 2024 was a success. We deeply feel and we really get sad. Personally, every time I hear of protests, I remember people like Rex Masai. And you're like, oh, you died, and I know that you died for our cause. And as Abdullahi is saying, that hopefully we can be patient enough to wait for that change, even as we do what we can now. Because the older generation is already used to paid and being mezoea kukaliwa, mezoea tu kuteseka. And now you're expecting us to do the same thing. Why were we given free education by Kibaki? Why were there so many past wins of the past presidents for us to make it better, not only for ourselves, but also for our children and our children's children? And I think that is why we are here, to have our voice heard, to at least make a change where we are, so that we can have a better Kenya, a good Kenya that one can actually be proud
this
of.
Idea by my friend Mark that what people on social media are calling for
is starkly different to what people on the ground want. I don't know where he's getting that from. I'll tell him what people on social media are calling for, and I'll also try and tell him what people on the ground are calling for. If there's a difference, he could elaborate. He could elaborate. I'm sorry. So, people on social media since June 25th are just calling for a just economic situation in the country where they're able to afford their basic livelihoods. Today, in the constituency he wants to vie in Muhoroni, which forms part of the larger Belt Sugar area of this country, those people, through their elected governor, have written an open letter to the president. They are calling for that the privatization of the sugar companies did not involve enough public participation. We think 60,000 farmers are going to lose their livelihoods. What are those people fighting for? They're just fighting for a just economic situation. How is that different? That is what is on the ground. In the same constituency he wants to vie in, how is that different from what people are calling for on social media? That we want a just economic situation. Please, an answer. Yes, Mr. Mark.
We'll get to your answer in a little short while, folks. Let's go to the magic wall and get some feedback. Do you mind?
Before.
You want
Please.
the answer?
No, I'm going to go on. Please.
You have another point?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yes. So my friend Mark also takes the example of the 2007 elections. So he tells you that 2 years before, which happens to be 2005, that the approval rating of the then regime was low comparative to now. I'll tell you what happened then. In 2005, the then sitting president lost the referendum. He lost it flat-footed. The ensuing 2007 elections, that election was contested. It led to clashes that happen in this country. It is general knowledge, agreeable knowledge, that the then sitting president lost that election. He then comes to 2017, and he tells you that 2 years prior to that election, which happens to 2015, the then sitting president Uhuru Kenyatta had equally low approval ratings, just as the sitting president. Let me tell you what happened in the ensuing elections in 2017. The first election were cancelled by the then Supreme Court for failing to meet the requirements of the Constitution. The follow-up election in 2017, I believe October, that was called by the Supreme Court, was abandoned by the the opposition parties who did not participate in that election. Take him back, because he goes back to 1997, the 1997 clashes. So those approval ratings did not end there. They did not win because they were popular. All those elections were highly contested because they were felt not to be free and fair. If anything, the representation of those approval ratings will be very evident in the ensuing elections in 2027.